How fun. All right.
Awesome.
I didn't think we'd be recording publicly, but now we are.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe we'll
Now
use
we're on
this.
video.
Why not? We're sitting in Condesa, Mexico City, and
Just off Amsterdam Street, the best spot in the entire city.
so I hear.
Yeah.
It's like if you're only going to get to know one part of town, you just ask the local people to tell you what's the best part of town.
Right.
You just get to know that.
I live way in the south.
Okay.
Like it took me like 45 minutes to get up here,
Wow.
and so
Thank you.
it's not touristy down there, but
Thanks for coming in. You've been kind of internationalizing and digital nomading for a while, but it seems like you've made this home. Like you say, I live in Mexico City. You're not sure how many-
I've been here since November 2022.
Okay. You got legal resident status.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, temporary resident. My wife is a student at university here,
Oh, okay. All
so
right.
we're gonna be here for 5 years.
Wow.
Or I've been a year. She's been in school a year so far, but she has 4 years left for veterinarian program. So
Where's she from?
she's from Korea, actually.
Okay. And was it because of her that you guys came here? Like because she got the program, or you said let's live in Mexico City? Then she said, well, then I'll go to school.
It's kind of a long story, but we were living in Austin, Texas, and then she was gonna go to school in the Caribbean, and so Mexico was gonna be like a gap. We were just gonna 6 months, like it's our last time to enjoy freedom, and then she was gonna go to Grenada, and then we just loved it here so much. We're like, I wonder what it would take to go to vet school here.
Wow.
And the biggest hurdle was learning Spanish. You know, she had to be at a high level of Spanish, but she has that Asian work ethic. You know, she just like buckled down, studied 8 hours a day. And
Whoa, because she's doing a medical degree in
Yeah.
Spanish. That's
Yeah.
intense. Wow.
So, and it's different here. Like it's pretty slow. She's actually doing really, really well because it's like in the U.S. they have vet techs and veterinarians, and the vet techs are like don't need a degree or anything. They're like the nurses, and so it's kind of like a combination of that here. They don't have vet techs, so it's just a 5-year program, and then you're a veterinarian.
Okay.
Like there's no undergrad, graduate. It's just
Gotcha.
yeah,
Wow. How cool. So you're going to be deeply ensconced here
Yeah.
for 5 years. And this is where her degree will be from.
right.
So then there's
yeah.
an incentive to even stay here longer because you guys couldn't just move to China and
Right.
have this degree. She couldn't be a veterinarian in another country.
Yeah, every country's different on like there's always like some board test that you have to take to like switch over. And we've talked about Australia or New Zealand. I would like New Zealand more, but she's more the compromise would be like Australia probably.
Have you been to both?
No, neither.
Yeah, they're almost identical. After 6 years in New Zealand, I went to Australia, and I went.
For the first time?
Yeah, and it felt
Huh.
like, well, I haven't left New Zealand. Like everything, the shops, the road signs. Okay, I mean, the animals are different. We don't have kangaroos.
Oh, yeah.
But it just felt like, even culturally, I felt like I hadn't left New Zealand.
So like Canada and US maybe kind of
Yeah.
very similar.
Very, very. So Australians are a little more boisterous and ambitious. Like it's okay to be ambitious in Australia, from what I hear.
Oh.
And whereas like in New Zealand, it's just like,
Tall poppy,
get
just
off
kinda-
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're supposed to just everything's low key.
And you've been there how long? Like a decade?
12 years.
Ah.
I'm feeling. I hate to admit this because I know people like have the vision of New Zealand as paradise, and it is. But I just have this internal clock that wants to move every year or two.
Yeah.
You know? Like we just all have a natural rhythm, right? We eat
Yeah.
every 5 hours or whatever, and my natural rhythm just wants to keep moving to a new place every year or two.
Yeah.
And I would have, but I have a kid, which also is fine because he'd love to move all around the world. But his mom works for the New Zealand government,
Oh. I
and
see.
so she doesn't want to move. Even if she didn't work for the government, she just doesn't want to move.
Yeah.
She doesn't like moving and starting all over and making new friends and all that. So
I see.
so I've been in New Zealand for 12 years, and I'm going to be there for 6 more at least until
Until 18,
he's out
yeah.
of high school, you know.
Uh-huh.
And he and I always talk about like where we're going to go next, you know. So it's really just she's the reason, his mom is the reason that we're in New Zealand.
I'm the same way. Like, I want to keep moving and
Yeah.
go somewhere else.
It's curiosity.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
I also have this metaphor that the the world is like our house. Okay, this is a perfect look where we're sitting. We're in this grand house. So this house used to belong to this famous Mexican actress that died, I don't know, a few decades ago. And then it, many rooms that they've turned into hotel rooms, and we're sitting in one of the two living rooms right now. But imagine if you lived in this house and you just spent all your time in one room. It would be kind of silly. It's like there are other rooms. This is your house.
Right.
Use it. So I feel that way about the world, that this is our house. And, for example, India and China are about like a third of the world, or maybe a quarter.
Yeah.
And why would we not spend time in these places that are a quarter of our home and get to know them? And
is this your first time you said this is your first time in Mexico?
Yeah.
Wow.
After decades of eating Mexican food. And it's my favorite food in the whole world.
Oh.
Hands down. When everybody talks about favorite cuisine, somebody says, I like Italian, I like French, I like Japanese. To me, it's like, no, Mexican all the way. I am such a Mexican food boy. And finally, I came here. And I think it's because, the reason it took me so long is because growing up in the U.S., I didn't travel at all until 38. How old are you now?
32.
All right. So it wasn't until I sold my company at 38 that I started traveling for the first time.
Wow.
Because until then I was just like head down,
Yeah.
just doing my work, and even like my girlfriend at the time wanted to travel the world. I was like, no, busy.
Yeah.
No travel. Work.
CD baby, that's it.
And so I didn't start traveling until 38. So then, of course, when I started traveling, it's like, get me far away. It's like, I want to go all the way to India. I want to go all the way to around Asia and around Europe. And the idea of just going south to where most of my friends were going, like, farther. So I never really came back to the Americas since 2008. Hardly even to visit. I think I've only been in the U.S. like a few days since 2010.
And you revoked your citizenship, right?
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Do you have to get a visa when you come back?
I did,
Yeah.
I could have entered visa-free, probably, but it's always, like, subjective, right?
Yeah.
The guy at the border
Right.
has to decide whether to let you in or not. So instead, I went to the U.S. Embassy, filled out the paperwork, paid a couple $100s, got the official visa stamped into my passport. So now, if I need to go to America, like if a parent is on their deathbed or something, have to get there in a rush, I like the fact that I'm pre-approved now. Like I got the visa in my passport. I highly recommend against it, against renouncing.
Okay.
Because it just, in
It's
general,
a huge headache.
it's a huge headache. And also, it's like, you never know how protectionist the political, whatever you call it, zeitgeist or mood of the country is going to be. And I think that top of the shit list would be people who actively renounce their U.S. citizenship. So it's like, in general, I think like it's life philosophy. Whatever option gives you the most options is the best option. Just to give you it acknowledges like never knowing what the future may hold. You might get an amazing business opportunity, or, a grandparent leaves you a giant farm estate or something like that, that you just think, oh my God, this place is paradise, I want to live here. Your wife gets an amazing offer to live in New York City, and if you renounce your U.S. citizenship, then it's like you're not getting that back.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't say I
recommend it for...
No, I definitely don't recommend it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm not sure if I regret it or not. There have been just a couple times in life that I was glad I did it. Because, you remember, my reason was like burning the ships. Like, where it's like...
I need to get uncomfortable.
To prevent myself from going back to my comfort zone. So there were a couple times in life where things got really uncomfortable out of the U.S. and it's like tempted to go back. It's like, well, I can't. So it forced me to push ahead. But see, you've already got the fact that your wife's green card expired. That's like your ships are already kind of burnt in a way because you guys want to be together. She doesn't have automatic citizenship, so it can't be like, oh hell, let's just go back to America, because she,
has to go through that process again.
And she's just got her Korean passport, right? And they don't allow dual.
Yep.
If you do it secretly.
Mexico
Mexico won't bother to go tell Korea.
Probably.
If she takes a Mexican passport, Korea,
I want her to do that.
Sorry.
Don't listen, Korean government. No, she's worried about that, but I'm like, you should just do it. Just get your Mexican citizenship, and because we'll be eligible by the time she's done with school. So
Yeah. Might as well.
yeah, and it's a good passport. The biggest weakness is getting into the U.S.
Yeah. Yeah.
So go to Europe, go to a lot of places in Asia. So you have 3, right? You have the Indian one. I've seen your art. It's probably weird to have someone that knows everything about.
Well, no, I get that too. When I'm meeting with
Yeah.
somebody who's like, I've already read your stuff, and I know your podcast
Right.
or whatever, then it's like, we can just pick up,
Yeah,
knowing
just-
that the basics are covered. Because the worst is the opposite. When you sit down with somebody
Yeah.
like, so, where are you from? You're
What's
like,
your story?
really?
Yeah.
You're like, and they're like, how'd you start your company? I'm like, oh shit, man, I've told this story 100
Yeah,
times.
literally
Don't make me
wrote
do
books
that.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So sorry. Yeah. You said what do
Your
I?
passport. Yeah, I know. I've read somewhere you had like the Indian foreign citizen or whatever it's called.
Pseudo citizenship.
Yeah, and then New Zealand, I'm assuming,
Yeah.
and then I don't know what your favorite one is.
Dominica.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I did.
Was that a golden passport? Like pay to
Basically,
get it?
yeah.
Yeah.
It was my treat to myself when I sold my company.
Huh.
Knowing I wanted to leave America forever. It was like a challenge to myself. But to be clear, it's like I liked America too much. I'm not
Right.
a political person at all. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even follow the news. I just don't give a shit what other people do. But well, I don't think I'd ever put it that succinctly. I don't give a shit what other people do. That's why I don't care about politics.
That's your next book.
Yeah, there you go. It's a long title for me. But anyway, wow. Sorry, you got me thinking about. So yeah, I'm so not political. So it's like leaving the U.S. was more just like a personal challenge to myself. You know,
Right,
The way
yeah.
somebody challenges themselves to not use their left hand for a day or something like that.
Yeah.
To just see if you can do it. So we wanted to challenge myself to leave my comfort zone forever. So in order to start doing that, I had to get another passport first. So when I sold my company, I thought about treating myself to something. It's like, should I buy a car? It's like, the car I've got is fine. Should I buy a house? It's like, I don't want to own a house. What should I get myself something? I was like, well, I could get a passport.
Huh.
So I went scuba diving in Dominica just to check it out firsthand because I'd heard the rumors online that you could get citizenship there, and I didn't believe anything I read online, you know. So went down
Smart.
there, and I liked it. And it's just like it's this poor little country, poor but gorgeous little nature island, where they have no good sources of income. They have no natural industries there, and not even tourism because the beaches aren't beautiful. It's good if you want to trek in the middle of a forest in the Caribbean, but most people don't go to the Caribbean to trek in a forest, you know.
Right.
So I got to know it, and I thought, all right, I feel wholehearted about doing this. So I gave them it was $60,000
Oh, not bad.
to become a citizen. And
That's all. I love that. I haven't heard of anyone doing that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna buy any toys. I'm gonna buy a citizenship.
Yeah, and I'm glad I did. So then everywhere I've moved since then, when I moved to Singapore only knew me as a Dominican.
Oh.
And I moved to New Zealand. I was only a Dominica citizen, and even later when I moved to the UK. Yeah, I moved to the UK as a Dominica citizen. So all the countries I've moved to since then were just on my Dominica passport.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Cool.
But I mean, okay, all this, we're talking about this country stuff. I mean, New Zealand I thought was going to be a short stop, maybe kind of like you with Mexico. I thought I was going to be there just for a few years, but it really got into my soul. Like, it's really home.
Yeah.
It's the only place that 100% feels like home now.
That's
Despite what I
awesome.
said earlier about, like, this itch to leave.
Yeah. It's a place to go back to, and
Yeah, I mean, Mother New Zealand has raised my kid as much as I have, you know what I mean?
right.
Like,
Yeah.
It was me and Mother Nature, in like that nature in particular, raising him. Like, it was like the forests of New Zealand and the beaches of New Zealand and the rocks and the big giant grassy fields, and it's like we've spent so much time in his childhood there, and he's 12 now, that he really feels like a product of New Zealand, you know.
That's awesome. You got the New Zealand accent, probably.
No, not the accent.
Wow.
Because he spends
Time with you.
so much time with me, and you know, all the YouTubers are all, you know,
Has he been to the U.S.?
barely,
Wow.
just a couple weeks.
That's so
He
interesting.
feels no affiliation, which is funny because, of course, my parents and his mom's parents are all insisting that he go to an American university. Because, of course, those are the only real universities.
Yeah.
You know, Ivy League, that's the only way to go. And I'm kind of gently encouraging him to go anywhere else.
Yeah. Or not go to university, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, it depends on what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Um,
That would be cool to go. If I could do it again, I would probably not go to university, or definitely go to university somewhere else. That'd be
okay.
nice.
Where'd you go?
University of Washington in Seattle.
You did? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So just because it was just nearby and you grew up there and
Exactly. Yeah.
was it
Yeah.
did you get like the discount because you were a Washington resident?
Yeah. Well,
Because-
even more than that, I did ROTC. I was
Okay.
military, so it was free.
Oh, okay.
But it was also discounted as in-state.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, please tell me about Kathmandu.
Yeah.
So, sorry, your audience already knows, but I don't.
Yeah. So the backstory, I had just gotten out of the military in November 2019. Bad timing, because I was going to take a sabbatical and travel that whole year.
Yeah.
And so I started by coming to Mexico, did a scuba diving month. I became a dive master.
Nice.
And then...
Wait, is dive master different than just being certified? Dive
Yeah.
master is...
Yeah, so I was already... Have you done much diving, just the open water? Or...
Just open water potty.
So I did open water is the first rank, and then advanced rescue, which is like doing CPR and pulling somebody out of the water and stuff like that. And then once you have those prerequisites, then you can do dive master, which is you have to have, I forget what it is, like 100 dives, and there's all these different training things you have to do, navigation stuff. And
So you were really into it.
yeah.
Okay.
And I thought during that year, I thought maybe I'd go to Thailand and be a dive master, work at doing that. Or I didn't know really what to do. And I actually got a visa for Australia.
Okay.
But then COVID happened again,
Right.
so I never ended up making it there.
Can we pause here for a second?
Yeah.
What do you like so much about scuba diving? I mean, I like it too, but I've never heard somebody go all the way like
That into it? Yeah. How peaceful it is. It's just like so quiet. There's no cell phones, it's just
That's
it's just calm. No distractions.
Who would have known that would be the top of the list of what do you love about scuba diving? Well, no cell phones.
You're just in the moment, It's like it forces you to be in that moment.
Is it okay? I've only gone a few times. I got certified in Iceland.
Oh.
In the
Oh,
have you
cool.
been to that spot? The
No,
Fisher?
but I've seen it.
Okay.
It looks amazing.
And so it's like I started in Iceland, and then I went to Dominica, and then I've gone once in Fiji, and that's it. So is part of the appeal of diving, are you constantly looking for new experiences, or do you just like the experience of just being under there?
Yeah, just being under there,
Okay.
honestly. Some people are about the experiences, like, oh, I want to see this shark or this, go to the reef or whatever. But yeah, I just like being underwater. I don't have to be super deep. I'm happy being at 30 feet versus 150 feet, which I've also done.
Yeah.
But
Wow, 150, wow. It's
Yeah.
so cold,
yeah,
dark.
and I got narcs. You know that?
Yeah.
What that is? Yeah. Like literally felt high, and
Wow.
started coming up. But
Wow.
yeah.
I had the first panic attack of my life underwater at 20
I've read
meters.
your. I don't remember if it was in a blog or
It was just a
somewhere,
blog
but-
post, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was such a weird feeling, and I still kind of, I everything, say, like 30 meters and up still feels like pleasurable. And then when it gets really dark down, it almost feels, so far to me, maybe I'll make different mental associations with it someday, but it starts to feel a bit like a nightmare. It's getting cold and dark.
Yeah.
It's not so happy down here.
You
It's
hear
gloomy.
different sounds,
Right.
things, bubbles.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I want to. It would be nice to get more comfortable down there. I like that the last time I went diving was 2 years ago in Fiji, and it was a really choppy day. So unfortunately, my boy was waiting for me on the boat, and he threw up 3 times because it was so choppy.
yeah.
And I'm just down underneath in just this
Calm.
tranquil. It's like never choppy underneath, is it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you see the sway of the plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, I so badly wanted to, like, just give him my mouthpiece and just say, here, just experience this for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, what a vast difference it is over and over.
Does he want to die, or is he too young? He's probably
I think he wants to.
probably minimum age, right?
He's not yearning to, but he's heard me just, the fact that he was throwing up on the surface and then heard me tell him how non-tempestuous it was
Yeah.
underneath.
Yeah. A lot of people have seasickness on the boat. As soon as they're in the water, it goes away.
Yeah. Okay, so, all right, so scuba,
Yeah.
but wait, Is it still rewarding after 100 dives?
Yeah.
It doesn't just become like a walk around the block, like pedestrian.
No,
boring-
it stays fun for the peacefulness of it. Like
Okay.
it's like skiing too. Like, do you ski or snowboard?
No, I mean I have.
Because that
Twice.
also is really peaceful for me. Like just
Okay.
everything's quiet in the snow and
Mm.
the soft fall of the snow. And
Okay.
I don't do it a lot, but I'm not like trying to push boundaries there either. Some people are going to like they're trying to get to flips and
Right.
all sorts of tricks. And so it's the same thing with scuba diving. Some people want to go to cave diving and
Right.
the adrenaline of it.
Okay.
But I'm kind of more about the calmness of it.
I mean, we don't talk about, we talk about like introvert extroverts, but like that's the thing, isn't it? Some people feel the need to constantly push
Yeah.
more adrenaline, do more, experience more, and I'm also like you. That's like I'm happy to
Go
just
for the
kind of,
calm.
I'm happy to just chill.
So I'd be totally happy to just go down and like just hover at 30 feet for, just take it in.
Yeah.
I could do that. But usually a dive involves going out and back somewhere. And
Okay, so sorry, that was we were talking about Kathmandu.
yeah.
So
So we'll
right.
lead up to that. So
Okay.
from Mexico, I was at a crossroad. I was dating my now wife at that time, and she was in Cambodia. She had a job there for a Korean company, and we had no plans to see each other. We didn't know like when the next time would be, and I actually called her to like break up. I was like, this might be the end, like I don't know when we're gonna see each other. And then I don't remember how exactly it happened, but we're like, why don't you come to Cambodia? And so that's what I did. I booked a ticket from Mexico to see her in Cambodia, spend a month there.
Wow.
And then she quit her job, and then we ended up traveling together. And we tried to go to Vietnam, but that was like the first country to close its borders.
Wow.
One of the first, anyways. This was
Wow. Okay, so borders were already closing, and it was cut.
February 2020
Yeah?
now.
Okay.
Yeah. And specifically to Korea, there was like early on in that specific time period, there was a fear of like Koreans because they had an early outbreak.
Okay.
And then, so we couldn't get into Vietnam. And then we went to Thailand for a couple days. And then from there, flew to Nepal because I'd been there before. I spent 3 months there in 2014.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah. And at this time too, it was like late February, early March. I just kept saying, it's gonna go away. It's gonna blow over.
Yeah.
It's gonna pass through. And then 2 or 3 weeks after we arrived in Nepal, lockdown started. They're like, no planes in or out. Like, if you're here, you're stuck here. And also the whole time we were there thinking like, okay, next week it's gonna open up. And the government was doing that too. They're like, I think every government was doing that, where they're like, okay, until March 21st, we're in lockdown. Okay, now March 28th, now April 14th. And so they just kept kicking it down the road. And then finally there was a charter flight that opened up in June that we took back to the US. But yeah, 3 months in Nepal. And
But you'd already been there. Okay. I mean, that's just a real dummy question. So what do you do even let's just go back 10 years. What were you doing in Nepal 10 years ago?
at that time, I was between college and going into the active duty military. And I was trekking mostly. Like,
Okay.
as you probably know, Nepal has great trekking and Annapurna Circuit, Everest. I did one called Longtong, which shortly after I was there was the Nepal earthquake in 2015. So that whole valley got wiped out.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I did 3 months total in Nepal, and then probably like a third of that I was trekking.
Okay.
And the trekking is like awesome. It's just, you go out, you can hire a guide for, $10 a day. It's like, it's not expensive for a Westerner. And you just start walking with a backpack, and then there's these little tea houses along the way, these little villages, and you can stay there. Usually the bed is free if you buy breakfast the next morning, which is $5, $10. And it's just awesome. Yeah, you're walking in the biggest mountains in the world. And
I have so many questions. So, okay, you seem like a really serene dude that you choose tranquility over and over again. In these times, are you walking and thinking? Is your mind racing, or are you just enjoying like the silence, like the mental silence of just taking in physical stuff? Do you like get back to your room and write all night, or read, or what do you do?
Well, yeah, actually, the first time I had a guide, so usually I'm like talking with him, just small talk as we're walking. And then at night, yeah, I read and I went through the entire Harry Potter series
Nice.
in like a week. It was insane.
Wow.
Because I'd be done walking at like early afternoon and then read until dinner and then zero distractions. So yeah, it's crazy what you can accomplish when there's no
The mix
distractions.
of Harry Potter.
I haven't
and
been able to do that since.
Nepal. Wow.
Yeah, among
It is-
other things, but yeah.
It's funny. I listened to the Harry Potter audiobooks. I never read the physical books, but I listened to the audiobooks during the 7 months I lived in London. While just walking around, I would just put them on my headphones and just walk around London.
That's
So I walked
awesome.
around London for, I don't know, whatever, 100 hours that the audiobooks last. And it was such a great environment for that, right?
Yeah.
The back alleyways of London.
The inspiration for the setting of that.
Diagon
Yeah,
Alley and all that.
that's
Okay,
cool.
but okay, so during the day then, are you processing thoughts bouncing around your head, or again, is it just silence?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I've done something like that, so it's hard to remember
But
exactly.
it could mean scuba diving too. Like,
Oh,
okay, so I noticed there are different kinds. When I walk in the forest every day, so every day I take like an hour-long walk in the forest when I'm at home. But my mind is racing. It's my processing. It's like I'm at the computer most of the time. I'm just writing most hours I'm awake. Unless I'm playing with my kid, I'm usually writing. And so then I stop for an hour, I go walk through the forest, and I take the same path every time, but it's also a difficult hike. It's like lots of up, down, 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 up again. I come home really sweaty.
yeah.
But it's kind of where I do my background processing of whatever's going on in my life. If it's something personally or even something work-wise, or even if I've been reading a book and it's got ideas that sometimes I process by writing, sometimes I process just by walking. It's like, but there are other times. So when I'm cycling, my mind is quiet because it's too, like things coming at you from different sides.
Yeah,
You can't
situational.
drift off. You can't look at the sky or you'll crash.
Right.
So I've noticed that when I'm cycling, my mind is silent because I don't have time to, or I can't be distracted enough. Scuba diving, which again I've only done a few times. I think my mind is quiet then because, oh my God, I'm underwater. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
yeah.
Whoa, look at this. Or even just, it's still novel to me to go like, oh, look, I can turn upside down.
Yeah.
And, but then, I would tend to think that if I was hiking, even in Nepal, that my brain would be filled with thoughts I'd be processing.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious how that went for you.
Well, on scuba diving, I guess one thing that has changed as you do it more is like, just like with any skill, like when driving, you're like paying attention to everything. You're like, okay, if you're on a manual, I gotta shift, gotta hit the clutch, but then after a while, it's just autopilot.
Right.
And so that happens with scuba diving after probably, depends how often you do it. If you front load all your diving, you get a bunch of experience and you get really comfortable with inflating and deflating your BCD. And so that becomes, you don't have to worry about it. And then it takes that mental tax off. And so I think it does become more calm the more you do it in that sense. But concerning Nepal, I remember having like weird thoughts, like mind game, like feeling like distracting myself with like doing little weird math games or like doing the ABCs or singing a song or something. It's hard to remember exactly because it's been so long, but I remember stuff like that where I was doing just weird math problems and stuff. And so yeah.
Because how long were you hiking for? Like 2 months?
2 weeks. Each of the 2 treks I did were 2 weeks.
Okay, but still 2 weeks of walking every day. That's
Yeah.
Okay, so you were there for months, but only 4 weeks of that was hiking. What'd you do?
Yeah.
Your other time in Nepal?
So I did a whitewater rafting trip one time. That was like 5 days or so. I can't remember. And then I was in hostels a lot, just like meeting people. That was
Okay.
like your article about just I'm just here to meet people.
Right, because you weren't there with your girlfriend. You were there alone, so you stayed at hostels.
The first time, yeah.
Okay, so that was 10 years ago. So you really just kind of went for adventure.
Yeah, yeah, and before Nepal I'd been in China for 10 days.
Wow.
Didn't like it, but I was in
What parts were you in
Beijing.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was my first time outside of the US, so
Oh,
I would do
wow.
it very differently if I did it now. But
Okay.
so it was like extreme shock and overwhelm,
Yeah.
but I didn't know what to do, you know.
Yeah.
And so I had been told that Nepal was really cool by my uncle who'd spent a lot of time there. And so that was the next place I flew and then spent a full visa there.
Wow.
So
Okay, so this time now, during COVID, what'd you guys do? It was
so
the two of you.
yeah. So we got there and then stayed at the same hostel I'd been at 10 years before just to check it out.
Wow.
And then in Kathmandu. And then we did are you familiar with World Packers? It's like a app website service that matches you up with like nonprofits, like volunteer opportunities.
Oh, okay.
So we stayed at an orphanage, volunteering there, like
Wow.
teaching English and helping out with chores and stuff like that. And that was like early to mid March. So it was like I think we were there a week, and then we went and did what was it called? Like a safari kind of thing. You go into Chitwan National Park and there's rhinos and elephants and stuff like that. And then we spent a couple days in that little town, and then by this point it was COVID. Everyone was worried about COVID. Things were shutting down, and people were. My wife got a lot of racist comments because everyone was worried about China and Chinese-looking people, and so we'd hear them talking in Nepalese, and you're like, China, whatever, like,
Wow.
and so she felt unsafe, and then but we went back to Kathmandu and got a long-term rental, like a little apartment it's like $180 a month,
Wow.
and then yeah, just hunkered down. Like we'll just wait it out, see what happens, and so we didn't get to do a whole lot because we were stuck in this little neighborhood in this little apartment.
Oh, was it even kind of locked down domestically? So it's like people weren't out and about.
Yeah, there was like limits on like grocery stores are only open for an hour in the morning and an hour at night, and
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, so it was very. We didn't do anything. There was nothing like really interesting that came out of
Okay.
that time other than just kind of. I was trying to figure out how to make some money online and
Right.
do some stuff.
Yeah.
But
Have you been to India?
no, I really want to though.
I wonder how different Nepal and India are. Well, I mean, India itself, it has so many different zones.
Right,
So maybe
right.
the Indian state right next to Nepal wouldn't be very different, but
I've heard that Nepal's more like India light. Like because India I've heard is just intense. That's what I've heard multiple people say. Like so many people, so many sounds and smells and things like that. And Nepal's less people, and I think the people are more. I don't know. I haven't been to India, so I guess I
Right,
can't compare
right.
it. But that's my general impression of the differences.
So please teach me something about Mexico.
Sure.
I want to understand the culture here better.
Yeah.
You've been here long enough and you've been enough other places that you're able to kind of observe Mexican culture as an outsider.
Yeah.
So I observed so I only read one little book about Mexican culture specifically. And when I got up this morning, it's my first morning at this hotel.
Uh-huh.
And the guy, who I think maybe he's the manager or the owner or something, started just kind of barraging me with questions like, oh, where are you from? Oh, what's your name? Oh, how long are you here for? Oh, do you have friends here? And I was like, man, that's a lot of questions. And then he gave me breakfast. And then I heard him doing this to other people. And I went, oh, right, I read that Mexican culture has a lot of this kind of small talk that everybody, it was an American woman who was here saying that her accountant came to meet with her. It was like a Mexican accountant came to her home and instantly was like having long conversations with everybody around. She's like, wow, how does he know these people? And I'm like, oh, he doesn't. It's just, this is the way you kind of just talk with everybody. So I went, oh, okay, I guess I just experienced that. I didn't realize I was experiencing that until afterwards. But
Yeah, super friendly. They always
yeah.
Buenos dias, Buenos Aires, all that. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, one thing I love about Mexicans is they're self-deprecating. Like they'll all talk about their country and themselves, like, oh, never trust Mexicans, or like,
Huh.
like stuff like that. That they don't take themselves too seriously.
Okay.
So I like that a lot. And um, the food, obviously, that's not really cultural. I guess. Oh, yeah, I guess it is. They're very family oriented. Everything's about the family. They don't understand the whole like 18 you're out of the house in the U.S. That's like so foreign to them.
And what about? But so you're here with your wife, and they know that. Is there? Do people think it's strange that you're away from your family?
Probably. I haven't really had anyone ask me about that, like, oh, don't you miss them or something? But
Okay.
they probably do, because
Okay.
if you see like the man on the street interviews that are popular on YouTube, they'll ask like, what's your impression of Americans? And that always comes up, like, oh, it's so weird that they leave home or they leave their home state. So, and honestly, that is kind of unique about Americans, is how mobile we are. Most people will stay in their hometown or home state.
How have you found making friends here?
I mean, my Spanish is intermediate at best, so it's hard to really like integrate. And most of the stuff I come to is in this area. I'll come to like networking events or something. And so most of my Mexican friends, I'm speaking to them in English. In that sense, they're more international.
Yeah.
They might have lived in the U.S. or lived somewhere.
Do you plan to get fluent? Or do you expect to get?
I'm working on it. Yeah.
Okay. Are you actually like? Are you taking lessons every week, or what do you do?
I work with a tutor, like on
Okay.
Preply, if you know that, preply.com, and flashcards for vocabulary, stuff like that.
Cool.
So yeah, it's been a struggle, but yeah, seeing my wife master it in like 6 months.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
and every Mexican we meet, they're like, "Wow, you sound Mexican!" Like,
Wow,
so, and she sounds American too. So that she just has that gift of
that's so cool.
accent just blending in.
How did you guys meet?
When I was in the military, I was stationed in Korea.
Wow.
And then met her in Seoul,
Wow.
where she's from. So yeah.
Would you ever want to live there in Korea?
Yeah, I'd be open to it. She isn't. She doesn't like it.
Oh, okay.
She hates her own culture. But
Wow.
yeah.
What doesn't she like about it?
The ruthless work culture, like it's just like work all the time. The only thing that matters is success, and
Right.
and then also the, what's the word for it? Male dominated.
Right. The
like,
patriarchy.
Patriarchy. That's
Yeah,
what I'm looking
okay.
for. Yeah. So women are treated very much second class, like
Right.
both in the eyes of the law and just culturally, and so yeah.
Do each of you have a place? Do each of you just want to keep traveling the world, or do each of you have a place that just feels like, oh, I'd really love to live in this place? This place over there feels like it suits me more.
For me, it's always changing. I'm like,
Okay.
I hear about, I'd completely written off China, and probably reading some of the stuff you've written about China. And I've been more interested in it lately. I'm like, I'd love to go back.
You got to go to the French concession in Shanghai.
Huh?
It
Is that the neighborhood?
It's as nice as this,
Okay.
and which blew my mind. Yeah, it's in the middle of Shanghai, kind of a little southwest from dead center, is a little leafy neighborhood called the former French concession. Somebody just taught me the name. The Chinese call it now, but you can still find it under former French concession. It's just so beautiful and so comfortable and so nice, and just bicycle lanes everywhere, and just like all these little artisan shops. And yeah, a friend of mine used to have an office there, and just said, yeah, even after years, it's just his favorite neighborhood.
Never goes away.
And yeah, too, it's just darling. I mean, I've been in a bunch of places in the world, but that was one of the nicest neighborhoods I've ever seen in any country in the whole world. And I couldn't believe it's in China, which I think of as like your first experience in Beijing. Like,
Right.
I think of it as like a rough, difficult place.
Smog, pollution.
Yeah, noise and the spitting and the.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
And the other thing you'll see now, if you were to go, is I don't mean now, like has to be now, but starting from now, you'll see that most of the vehicles are electric, which just changes the sound of the city.
Yeah.
So it's like as soon
That's
as I
great.
got out of the subway, and it's just like I stepped out and I saw 40 cars and 30 motorbikes go by, and it's like it was all silent. I was like, whoa.
Chinese cars are starting to come in really quickly here.
The BYD.
Yeah, BYD and a bunch of other ones. It's crazy.
Oh, right, because I think they're being made here, actually.
I think there are a lot, yeah.
Or they're kind of importing through Mexico. I think the Chinese are sending them to Mexico to be imported to the U.S. as Mexican cars.
There's a lot of that, yeah.
There must be some benefit to Mexico in that deal.
Yeah, bypass or
Right.
take advantage of NAFTA and then,
Right. NAFTA, I haven't heard that term in a while.
or whatever the new version of it.
That's probably it, maybe. Okay, so you kind of want to keep pushing out and exploring.
Yeah, so every few months I'm like, man, New Zealand sounds awesome, China sounds awesome, yeah, whatever, Argentina.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But my wife really loves Spain. She spent some time in Spain, and so I think that's her dream.
That'd be kind of badass. Get your vet certificate here in Mexico.
Right.
Get citizenship, move to Spain. But then you don't know enough Spanish, and you could be comfortable there. And
yeah, hopefully.
Live in the EU and have that as a travel hub.
Yeah.
The rest of the EU.
Yeah, so I'd be happy with that. For launching her career, though, U.S. is definitely pays the vets the highest and stuff like that. So I think that's, at least for a few years, that's probably the first step.
Okay.
And then once you practice in the U.S., then you can go anywhere.
Right. Hey, don't get rid of that passport yet.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're still going to need it.
Well, also, from a tax perspective and stuff, it doesn't make sense until you're highly taxed, which I'm not. So,
well, even in my case, all my income is still U.S. sourced.
Oh.
From the charitable trust. So renouncing my citizenship made my taxes go up, not down.
Oh, interesting.
I was paying maybe 25% income tax.
Because you still have U.S. taxes, and then.
Yeah. So now all of my income, the U.S. just keeps 30% flat before anything is distributed to me, and then I get double taxed for whatever country I'm living in. So my taxes went up with renouncing.
Wow, good to know. That would be a bad outcome.
Yeah, well, I mean, to me it was like, all right, but the taxes were never the point. I was trying to put up big obstacles to prevent myself from going back to my comfort zone. But anyway, so yeah, this is really cool. That it's nice that you guys are pretty aligned in wanting to travel the world like this.
Yeah.
It's a shame when one person's into it and the other one isn't.
Right,
you know?
that would be a problem.
Yeah,
it's
it's kind of what happened to me. Is I met my future wife, and like on our second date, I said, I'm leaving America and never coming back. So we shouldn't have a third date unless you also want that. And she's like, hell yeah, get me out of here. Can't wait. And
she was Indian, right?
Mm-hmm, but grew up in New York City. Yeah.
Okay.
And then after we left America, basically right after, she said, I don't like this. I don't like traveling. It's the difference between in theory and in practice. There's so many things. Like right now, your wife thinks that she would love to live in Spain, right? You might get there and find out, oh, actually, no, we don't like this at all.
Fun to visit, but not to,
Right. So I think there are a bunch of things in life that in theory sound nice. And when you actually do it, you go, oh, never mind. And sometimes it's the opposite. I've talked a bit about publicly, but I should write more about it, how Dubai was a place to me that in theory I hated it. I didn't like anything it represents with the glitz, whatever, millionaire pandering, Instagram-y culture. But then when I actually went, I went, oh my God, this place is wonderful. It's the biggest melting pot of culture I've ever experienced, and such a different culture for me, this Arab culture, which is just like so heart-driven. I started talking to people that live there, and they said living in Dubai feels like the difference between being in a family-run business. Say, like, you just, whatever, you go into a coffee shop that's like a family-run business, where it's like they care really deeply, versus being at a Starbucks, where it's just like a machine. And they say, every other country, you feel like it's just kind of like a machine. They said, but here in the Middle East, in these Gulf countries, they're emirates, where it's just like, it's a family-run business. It's like, it's an emirate. Like, that's the king, or the sheikh, the emir. This is his place. And we were all in his place. And they said, but because of that, they care really deeply. And you sense this like heart-driven care of being in a family-run business when you're living in one of these Gulf Coast countries. I mean by that, like Oman, UAE, Bahrain, even Saudi Arabia. They just said it just feels like there's a lot of care and love. put into even at the governmental level.
That's cool.
Like the guy, some Israeli guy that was living there, set up a business. And when he went to go get his business license, like went into some office to get the new license, and it was like there was the man, like the sheik's son, who was like pictures all over town. He's like, "Oh my God, it's you!" And he goes, "Yes, it's me."
I approve all the business. Stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, there's a lot of care and love and attention put in it. So anyway, sorry, I'm nerding out. I love UAE. I might love Abu Dhabi even more than Dubai. Dubai.
Now I'm gonna add that to my list. Now that it's been planted in my head, I'm gonna.
Yeah. Let me know before you go. There's some people I'd like you to meet.
Oh, okay.
I got to know an Emirati guy really well. That's just one of my favorite people, and
that's awesome.
Such a warm, impressive dude. What was my point? Oh, the difference between in theory and in practice. So sometimes, like in theory, you think you want to leave your home and live all around the world, and then you start doing it and you go, oh wait, never mind, I miss home, and sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes there are things that in theory you don't think you would like it, and you do it and you find that
right, or at this phase in life you don't like it, but then 10 years later you might.
Right. So the thing I said earlier about how I didn't start traveling till I was 38, so yeah, like all the way from age 14 to 38 I was head down. I just wanted to
music or
10 years in my music, then like 10 years in my company. I just wanted to like be great at this thing. Fuck vacations, fuck travel. I just want to work. And then now I travel to inhabit philosophies. Like I want to experience other ways of living and other ways of approaching life. But there might come a time soon where it's like I just want to have my head down in my work again and just live somewhere that's without obstacles. That's to me my definition of home is a place without obstacles. That's like what home means to me. For some people, it's like home is my family. For some people, home is, the motherland. But to me, it's like, where can I be that feels like there are no obstacles? No obstacles to my
what you want to be doing in that
productivity, my flourishing, my just physical comfort.
I love. You have an article about how I might have the places backwards, but I think you were in Portland. You were in a cool city, but you were dealing only with people around the world. And then when you're in Singapore, you're just dealing with people locally.
Yeah. And local versus not local.
Yeah. And I've kind of felt like that here. I'm kind of isolated in the South, and I'm just like working all the time, just like working on my business. And
so even though you're physically located in South Mexico City, your attention is spread worldwide.
Yeah. Okay. I don't get out much. It's like just hunker down there.
Okay. I'd kind of be the same way if you were asking me some New Zealand things. It's like I'm physically there, but my attention is 100%.
Right, yeah.
Elsewhere.
It's also why it makes it hard to learn Spanish, because I'm not surrounded by Mexicans all day. I'm usually like on calls in English and But yeah.
When you say on calls, what is your work? You know what I realized? Let's look at the camera for a second. Yeah. I am speaking so differently because we're being recorded.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just feel like if we hadn't turned this on,
it would be a different conversation.
I think we'd be having a different conversation. I'm just noticing this in myself, that I think I'm too aware of this third person sitting here. I feel like I have to make it a three-way conversation. You and the world.
Our guest here.
Yeah. Our guest listeners. Because I just realized I just felt self-conscious asking you what you do, because I know that your listeners would be like, how does Derek not know that we're talking?
I mean, my podcast is like, it's kind of like a blog. Like, it's just like where I post, like I said, it started as travel stories, and just now it's random topics, AI, random stuff. Yeah. And so
I like your about page about the iguana. It's like, I think that's really sweet. Like, my very first episode was just me and an iguana. Yeah. It's like, that's really sweet. I wish more people would do that. When I go to people's website and I click about, I want more. I don't want them to say like, I don't know, we have 150,000 listeners. That's our about page. Like, no, come on. Give me the story. Give me some context. Who the hell are you? Why are you doing this in the first place? What are you after? What are you pursuing? What are you trying to get from doing this?
In my site, you've probably seen is like a clone of yours. I literally took your, like, me in a couple sentences, like, heavily inspired.
I'm happy to be your template.
Yeah.
It's a good. I like that format. Because
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
simple.
how much people care. Like sometimes, no, I just want the 10 seconds. Tell me in 10 seconds, who are you?
Right.
And sometimes you really do, like, no, give me the 10 minutes version. Take your time. Tell me, like, some more context for who you are, why you're doing this. Because different reasons. I love this idea I heard years ago of you can't, okay, you were at a party. This is just in theory. You're at a party, there are 2 doctors and 2 lawyers there. Let's say there are 20 people at the party, but 2 of them are doctors and 2 of them are lawyers. So you say, oh, hey, you guys should meet. You're both doctors. Oh, hey, you guys should meet. You're both lawyers. But then you find out that one doctor became a doctor for the status, and the other doctor became a doctor out of like a sense of justice because his father was wrongly diagnosed and therefore died of something he shouldn't have died from.
Yeah.
And so it's like he's got this mission to never let that happen again. And this lawyer is on a mission because his mother was wrongly jailed or whatever, and so he wants to make sure that the legal system, this sense of justice, and this lawyer's in it for the status.
Right.
So actually, this doctor and this lawyer have more in common than the 2 doctors, the 2 doctors. So we can never assume why somebody's doing something just because we know the what.
Yeah.
Like you may be digital nomading for a completely different reason than somebody else would. Like
Right.
you're doing the slow version that I like, where you've like gone to places and stayed for
Right.
months, and now you're here for years. Whereas I know some people just go everywhere for a week at a time, and they
Right.
take so many pictures, and they just keep showing everybody the pictures of where they are. Like this, look at me, look at me.
Right. Right.
And
Just stamps in the passport. That's it.
right, yeah, yeah. This feeling of accomplishment. Look, I've done it. I've gone all these places. Yeah, I went to a digital nomad conference once. They asked me to speak, so I attended a conference in Berlin, and I was shocked how it felt like I had nothing in common with all of these other travelers.
What was it? What was the conference?
It was just called the Digital Nomad
Oh,
Conference.
okay.
Yeah, that's where I met Mark Vanson right before his book deal.
Oh, cool.
And we had this long, funny conversation where, I missed a call. We gotta go.
All right.
Bye, everybody.